I was born in Seoul in 1984. While I'm growing up, there was an economic crisis in 1997. At the same time, internet started at the same time in South Korea. So, if there's no money for the cultural like experience. So there was nothing to do in the cities, and that's where many PC bang begins. Like PC bang is a kind of a LAN game place. You can play a game inside a certain room with other players. There are many desktops and monitors. So I remember I spent many of time just doing internet inside my home and just playing nothing but the games while I'm growing up. And I figured out when I was like at age of 30, and that was not just for me, it's for the generation around me, many other people. They made so many online video games, and we spent many time like conversating to the other people inside the online games. So I think in South Korea, internet changed the society in many ways, and it also changed the whole economic system. When you live inside the Seoul, contemporary Seoul, people are so much into technology. They love it. Technology shaped the whole cityscape and everything. I am using this game and video game engines and how they develop the video game. There's those informations to like describe the contemporary life in the mega city. I started this kind of activity like I call like game things. Like I make publishing about what's after the video game. What video game changed our cityscape, how they changed it, and how they changed the way we think, way we experience the realities. If you see the dialogue now, it's completely mixed with video game terms and comics terms and pop subculture things with the art. And I'm doing writing for the artists and at the same time for the video gamers, because I want to connect those people, or like art people and that gaming industry people. It's a strange way of making and generating artworks and art discourses. It's because Seoul is quite a city that is hard to live. I mean, it's quite harsh to live. In Seoul, it has like high rent fees. So basically, I'm an artist, and there's no space for the art. There's no studio for me. Like I spent most of the time inside the video game engine preparing this exhibition, because only thing I had was a small desktop. I'm just changing the like graphic cards. I can do that. I'm changing CPUs so I can have more process power, basically. But there's no power to store my artworks. I mean, I like the way of living like that, because I'm starting to using that kind of a situation as a part of shaping my artworks. When I was preparing this exhibition, I prepared a digital space inside my game engine, like exact dimension, same to the art space here in level 3. This comes from the idea of in 1939, there was a New York World Fair, and corporation like General Motors, they had this exhibition called Futurama. It was a diorama which has small people inside the city, and there was an electronic highway next to it, and the cars are automated. So it's basically a basic concept of automated vehicles. When I saw that in a books that explaining about what is a self-driving car, I thought it would be great if I could use that kind of a structure. Because when I see that real small person, I know it is not a real one with animations and it's not alive, but they have ability that make you think like you are inside the city as a small person. You are really inside the future. That's where my three creatures come from: human, the Lilliputians, and the self-driving car. So with that, I can make like some environment has the environment that has a reality of something like a future. So for me, like self-driving car is a kind of a vector, like where our society goes. Is for the like future vector. It's an arrow to the future. When we play a game, there's a concept of player. Player means we are interacting with a certain tool or certain rule. So I starting to using this term player for my artworks and any other experience like writings and publishing. Because the player basically means our body interacting with data. So when we interacting with data, what I imagine is there's some field of my body like extended, like, and I have no ability to see it in a visual way. So that feels me like I'm inside a video game, certain video game. I'm connecting to some of my data or the data of not mine, just collective data. So when I call my artwork as a video, as a game, I have this intention of describing this situation. I like the feeling of latency. Because when I input something like I painted it on inside the painting application inside the monitor, I painted a line. Let's say I drag the mouse, and if your computer is so slow or your internet connection is bad, the dot I painted is following me like in time. So I have that kind of feeling when I make artwork and installation, because I've already done it inside the virtual world, and it follows me until the end of the exhibition. So I like the terms like lag or latency, because it makes me imagine of digital and real life keep following each other in a circle. What I like is they are eating each other up again, like circulating.